Welcome to the Lace 'em Up Podcast. I am your host, Davidito, and we back like we never left. Since we back, go ahead and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Excited about today's episode. Today's guest is coming to us from Tennessee, okay? He's now doing customized shoes full time, all right? Has an amazing story, amazing journey. Have had some ups and downs throughout life, but has seemed to have found his niche and his stream. Let's find out how he's taking his art and his passion for shoes and turning it into a full-time career. Brandon, welcome to the Lace 'em Up Podcast.
Listen, you want custom shoes, that's gonna take some bucks. Whatever you have for the price, go ahead and raise them up. Better get your spot now for it's taken up. When it's all said and done, my guy, lace them up. Come on, lace them up.
Hey, what's going on? Thanks for having me. This is my first podcast
Awesome.
situation, so
Well, I'm glad to have you on, man. I'm glad to have you on. Let's start here. Tell the audience a little bit about yourself.
my name's Brandon. It's Offbeatcustoms. This whole thing really started accidentally. I was doing marble and granite countertop work when I was a kid, and then I started doing cemetery granite, with stones and stuff. But I've been a sneakerhead since 1990. When the Great Fives came out the first time, I had them, and right then I was instantly hooked to shoes. Where I'd stay out of school to go get the new Jordans when they came out and all that. But somebody showed me a video about 7 years ago where it was Serato, and he had done a Space Jam Jordan 12, and I saw it man, I can do that. I think I might be able to do it a little bit better, but he is cold. But so the guys who showed I should have started that.
You good, man. You good. Let me ask you this question.
Showed me that. Do what?
Go ahead.
Okay, the guys who showed me that video were trying to start a YouTube channel type thing, but they weren't really prepared at all. And so I just kind of kept messing with it. Now I have basically a shoe factory in the extra room of our apartment, industrial leather sewing machine. It's grown a lot in the last year because of college basketball coaches and a few athletes. Still trying to get them in athletes' hands a little more often, but yeah.
So I'm gonna rewind you real quick.
Yes.
My first question in that space really is, what got you into doing art? First of all.
Oh man, since I was 3, because my mom painted canvases, stuff like that. My granddad painted. So when I was 11, I was leaving my junior pro basketball game and going over to this old lady's house and taking oil painting lessons. So I've been getting art kits for birthday presents and Christmas presents since I was a little kid. So that always just kind of came natural, really. I went from tattooing, I've seen tons of shoe artist people who they always started out tattooing on their friends, putting terrible, awful tattoos on other kids when they're young, and then they go on to doing shoes because the two things just match perfect, because I already loved shoes and then art.
Nice. So with that, I like asking this question when it comes to using shoes as your canvas to paint on, right? There's so many other things you could have chose. You could have just said, "Hey, I'm gonna pick up a regular canvas and do some painting," versus doing it on some shoes. What made you say, "Yeah, shoes is definitely the place I want to incorporate"? Well, now it sounds like you're doing also decon and recon. But before we get to that, what made you say, "Hey, I'm gonna actually paint on some shoes"?
It, actually, honestly, I still like to have like a canvas on the side because I do when I start working on shoes, I start on 5 or 6 pairs at a time because it's really better that way because you can assembly line it and just like never have to wait on this to dry before you can do this. Like you can just bam, bam, bam. So that what was I saying? Oh yeah, so having a break from that, like I'll still do canvases and stuff, but it just makes sense with shoes because I already like looked at it like it was a piece of art anyway. Like ever since the great fives, like I can tell you every stitch on that shoe, and so that just it made sense when I saw that that was an option to do. And then obviously I started digging like deeper and deeper into it. And like I was gonna stop you a second ago, but didn't want to about like recon and stuff. No, I honestly I hate having to do that stuff because it's hard to ever get like a stock Jordan back to it look from the factory. But the sewing machine is mostly for putting like the Travis Scott swoosh on there or I take the swoosh off of pretty much every shoe that I do anyway. So that's what it's for, but I'm not using it to its potential because it's really made for building the whole shoe from the sole up. So that's the plan is next to basically build a Travis Scott Jordan 1 low using like the nicest leather in the world. Like no paint involved, just like nice leather that Nike would never use, and just make like a clean Travis low. It's a
Yeah,
pretty detailed process.
yeah. That's one of the things I want to learn how to do. I've been eyeballing a couple of hand crank machines, but I have not pulled the trigger on doing it yet. But it's definitely something I've been eyeballing to
It's
do in
worth
that space.
doing.
Yeah,
You'll want to, and then you'll just want to go further and further. And once you get to that step of making the whole shoe, it can get overwhelming. If you try to order like every little thing, oh man, you'll quit because it's just insane. Because every piece of leather has to have a different like reinforcement behind it. So one shoemakers academy, they sell like a kit that has all the pieces of what you need. So yeah, if you ever do that, definitely go that route. And then the pattern, like the Zylar pattern of the shoe, you got to get that in every size. To buy the Zylar ones, it's like $380 for one thing. So I'm still working. I've got an 11 and a 13. So
yeah.
that's
If
where
I
I'm
ever
gonna
do
start.
it, it'll probably just be for me. I don't because I'm not buying one for every shoe for real.
Uh-huh. It really
Um,
worked out with 11 and 13 because I wear 11 and 13 is a pretty common size that I mess with or work on.
yeah, especially nowadays. Well, if you're doing stuff for athletes, yeah, for sure. Um, One of the things I was gonna say when we were talking about, doing a little bit of recon decon stuff. One of the things I've seen a lot in your artwork or in your shoes, I should say, is the reverse swish. And so what is the draw to that? I see you've changed up a little bit. You did a couple with like some sharper edges on the outer part versus it being more round and like different things. So what is the draw to that for you?
I'm glad you asked because I actually got that shoe sitting right here. But playing with that North Carolina colored Air Max, that I was going for like the poly swoosh that's on like the big head mode Air Max 1. They got those ones, and it's got like it's almost like pixelated in places
Gotcha.
on the shoe, and then its swoosh is shaped like that. So the way it goes backwards though is because when I first started like really taking this shoe stuff serious was right when the Travis Scott collabs were coming out with Jordan with that big reverse jumbo swoosh. And I don't know, like instantly I was like, that's awesome. Because it took like a classic shoe that I wore anyway, a Jordan 1 Low, an OG Jordan 1 Low. There's a big difference with that OG not on there. The OG needs to be on there. But just, I don't know, there's just something cool about it. So now I started doing like a double layer swoosh, whether it was like an off-white style or whether it was Travis Scott style. I started making a double layer, and it just made everything look a lot nicer. But I went further than that. So hold on, let me. I got it just to make sure. I was like, man, I want to have that handy just in case. So yeah, I'm surprised you'd seen that.
Yeah.
But yep, it was. Where is? Well, I don't have one of the Poly Air Maxes, but and then that's another thing I just started doing was like big jumbo logo on the back.
Yeah.
But yeah, that one's cool. It's for a guy, Mike Street in North Carolina, who has got like 10, 12 pairs from me in the last year and a half.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
from that standpoint, right, and trying to get customers and that kind of thing, what other ways are you one marketing yourself outside of Instagram, right? What other ways are you marketing yourself, and what other like tips could you give us? People who are trying to increase their clientele.
I was going to ask y'all the same thing. Honestly, I rely on Instagram a lot to the point where they had me restricted bad for like 6 months. I couldn't collab with another account or anything, all because I was putting one of one, like one semicolon one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm putting it as one of one, like because there's only one. Their bot that scans everything that you post that has the power to like flag you, delete the post, and then like punish you. It was reading that one of one like the replica and fake sites were using it. Like one of one, it's just like the real one. So it's reading it as that. I keep getting posts deleted over and over and over. And it was just huge mystery. And then we finally got it worked out. But right now, I've just been relying on Instagram, and word of mouth is a pretty big one. Like that always happens. It'll be like a web of people because it's like this one ended up turning into this one and this one. Um, Other than that, honestly, I need to be looking into other things outside of Instagram. I try to gift pairs to certain people. Like if I like the guy who started doing the Spanish broadcasting of Tennessee football games, Carlos Lopez. I've been
Yeah,
seeing his
I saw that.
story on Facebook, and I'm like, man, this dude started this from his mom's living room because he couldn't do it in his house because they had a baby, and his wife was like, you cannot be in here yelling, give them six in Spanish with the baby in her sleep. So just seeing like his story, I was like, man, I'm gonna probably make a pair for him. And then he popped up in the comments of something I posted and went from there. Next thing I know, I was at the 107.7 WIBK radio station. That was cool. So just anything I can think of, like literally just whatever I can think of to
Yeah,
just
and you made
get.
him a pair of Air Max, right?
No, his was a Jordan 1 Low.
Oh yeah,
And it
yeah,
wasn't Travis Scott style. It was like off-white style,
yeah, yeah,
sort of.
yeah,
It was
yeah.
like my
Yes,
mix of it.
yeah. I
But
remember that. You have a lot of Tennessee shoes on there. A lot of Tennessee shoes.
tons.
Uh,
That's I go through so much of that specific orange because tons of Tennessee ones.
yeah.
Like I'm a ball for life anyway. I like born and raised here in Knoxville, so I mean I've done a pair for the athletic director, Tony Vitello, the baseball coach, who all the ladies and he says he loved Tony Vitello. I come to find out, and he was super cool. Man, a bunch of Tennessee people, but The pair I'm doing right this minute, I just finished them this morning. This is cool. Like he has an Instagram account, a Barstool Instagram account.
Mm.
You know who I'm talking about
Mm.
yet?
Mm-mm.
He unboxes stuff daily. Other teams send him stuff, and he unboxes them. And he, if it's something Tennessee related, he gets
Open it.
pumped.
Huh.
I can't say who it is yet, but it
Yeah.
rhymes with Bon Mooden. but but this is the box that it's going. Hold on. So this is how this.
Oh,
is the
nice.
box. So hold on, let me. Boop.
Nice. Yeah.
But yeah, that I found out like who his guy is that's behind the camera in all those videos, and I got in touch with him on Instagram. He got back to me like 30 minutes later, and so I'm about to send them, and I think it'll make an awesome video because the Tennessee equipment director, or the equipment manager sent him a big Tennessee box. He freaked out instantly when he saw it was Tennessee, and then he really like literally said, "This will blow y'all's mind," and it was these like kind of ugly Tennessee shoes. They were just orange like Nike shoes, and I was like, "Oh, if he freaked out like that for those, then this should make a really good video." I
Yeah.
hope so, because that would be cool.
Yeah.
That's what I keep hoping for, I guess. Like, just keep grinding and grinding and grinding away until like the one big thing happens.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, that makes me definitely think about this is something that you have to be resilient in, but it's also very, very labor intensive. I think it's impressive that you could do multiple shoes at one time. For me, I can only do one at a time. It's just one at a time. I would. There's too much going on. I would get trying to make it through. So I think that's very, very commendable of you to be able to do that. For sure, for sure.
The only way I can is I have to have a plan, like
Yeah,
a outline, and I put them up here on the wall right here, and I have to go by it because I will get absent-minded enough to spray a section blue and then find out like this was a Tennessee shoe. Like it could happen, so I
yeah,
have to have like a outline up there.
yeah. So, which kind of leads me into my next question, right? I always say that creating is problem solving, right? And there's in doing this, there's so many things and so many mistakes and so many things that you're learning with materials. What has been the hardest pair of shoes for you to work on? What was that problem that you had to solve, and how did you work through it?
The biggest problem ever is I learned pretty quickly that quality of leather, like the quality of, I hate saying it to people when they like suggest doing this specific shoe or this shoe, and I feel like an ass saying it, but the leather on like an Air Force One, like a normal Air Force One or a Jordan Mid or a non OG Jordan One Low, the leather on them is significantly worse. So it's super hard to get everything to be durable on lower quality leather.
Mm-hmm.
So like right when you go into the OG One Low, the leather's just good enough to where you can pretty much absorb that color to it and make it permanent. Like I have some Nike, some SB Dunks, some Travis Scott Air Max ones that I painted just because I had worn them and beat them to death. So I ended up changing the colors on all the sections and all that. Beat them to death. I beat those shoes to death, working in them and everything. Scrubbed them with Dawn and water, and nothing came off anywhere because like I've got it down to a science when it comes to that. But and it's all based on that right there. It's the quality of the leather. So, but yeah, other than that, you literally have to find a solution for just problems all the time. My
Yeah.
wife hates me for it sometimes because I'm like, I know I said I'd be done in 30 minutes, but this problem came on, so I'm cool with it because I enjoy it. like solving it, but
Yeah, I just my so my wife is Colorado University of Colorado fan. Her family has been for a long time, so she had this little
Coach
cross.
Prime.
Yeah, yeah, she had this little fanny pack that she wears across her shoulder now, and it was wearing out. So I bought her a new fanny pack, but I painted the Colorado stuff on there, and man, the stupid gold paint bled through. So then I had to go back through and like touch up everything by hand. All the black pieces. I was so mad because I was like, I should be done with this like
That's
20,
what
30
gets
minutes,
time consuming
no
right there.
problem. And then I had to go back and do all these touch ups. So,
Ugh.
but it got done, made it through it. What should have been a 30-minute project ended up being like an hour and a half
Yeah,
instead because I had to do all this by hand
all the
stuff. But
time. Just all the time. And when you have to start going in on by hand, that's when it really gets time consuming.
yeah,
I try to
yeah,
stop myself and be like, just cut a new stencil. Just redo it the right way. Don't sit here and try to do that because you know what's going to happen. But
yeah,
yeah, it
yeah.
happens. And Deion, I'm looking at a little Deion figurine right over there because I was a huge Deion Sanders fan
Yep,
growing
me
up.
too.
Like, loved it. I had every Deion jersey. I'm tempted to. I don't own any LeBrons, but those LeBrons that just came out that are
Mm-hmm.
like the Dion, I'm
Silhouette,
tempted
yeah,
to buy a pair because
yeah,
yeah, my sunglasses are the Coach
yeah.
Prime blenders. That's
Oh,
the second
nice,
pair I bought.
nice. I
Yeah,
no, I want the diamond turf toe, the 96s with the strap. I want some of those for sure,
oh
for
yeah,
sure.
I
Yeah,
just remember how it looked on my foot. I remember how clunky it was and how the toe was like big clunky toe,
yeah.
and I hate that. That's why I'm tempted to buy those LeBrons. So
Mm.
it'll be my first LeBron.
Yeah, LeBron likes doing that. He did that too with gosh. What's my dude? I can see his face right now. It was a cross trainer. Jabos. He did that with some Jabos too.
Really,
Yeah, he did a LeBron and it was in a Jabot theme. I actually have them. They're upstairs somewhere,
I
but
can't think of it.
yeah,
Huh?
I
Because
actually
I
have
thought he
them.
had done something else, like I want to say like the Sean Wotherspoon Air Max 97. I don't, it might not have been that, but anyway, he did the two different Dion's, so
Yeah.
I might.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah, Dion has also been one of my favorites. So actually, your the Florida State ones you did with the arrow tip on the back of the swoosh. Florida State was my school coming up. Like I loved Florida State, so it actually started with like Dion and Peter Warwick, and
Yeah. Oh
because
yeah.
Peter Warwick, I wore the number 9. In when I played in high school. I tried to get it when I played in college, but somebody else already had it. But yeah, that
Everything I use a number for, literally everything. Like the beginning of this, before it got shortened to just Offbeat Customs, it was Offbeat 21. Obviously,
mm,
like everything I have to use a number for, it's either 2 or 21, and I justified it by saying that if you take 21, 2 is the second letter in the alphabet, so B, my first initial. Oh, I was reaching. 19 is S, so 8 or 19 plus 2 equals 21. So it's my initials. You had to go around a big curve to get there, but it eventually made 21.
yeah, you're making it work. So where did the name come from? Speaking of which, where did the name come from?
It was random, super random. At the very beginning, I was not really looking at it as something serious to actually really start taking seriously, but my wife is known to like really push on things. And so I remember being on the phone with her, she's like, you need to have a name figured out today so that you can, start like social media accounts and stuff like that. and a logo. I was like, 30 minutes left before I have to give it to her. And I was just looking at different words. I looked at it and it just kind of stuck in my head. Get on the phone with her and she said it. And I was like, bam. I was like, if you just mentioned that out the blue, I'm just using that because I don't know. I think she thinks I'm weird, but so offbeat. Like that's the only way I can think of it. She just came up with that because she thinks I'm a little crazy. But
So, what
the
with that?
logo,
Yeah,
huh?
that's what I was gonna ask. I was gonna
I
ask about the
drew it
logo.
with a Sharpie right there, standing there on the phone with her. I drew it out with Sharpie, and it's went through a couple steps. Like this is the third generation from where I've cleaned it up and changed it a little bit, and now there's an AI version of it. It's even cooler. But yeah, just did it with a Sharpie and was like, man, that'll work. Just it was supposed to be like showing, yeah, not two faced, but like just showing both sides of a coin.
Hmm.
Yeah, so it was like a normal face and then kind of a crazy one. So it
Yeah,
just kind of all made sense. And
yeah.
I just
Well,
wanted to fall
it
down.
sounds like she be hyping you up because I saw in your video she was hyping you up and showing the studio and everything.
She
You like,
does.
yeah.
She does. Like, yeah, she 100%. Like, honestly, not to get, like go all into it. She saved my life. Like for like 100%, she saved my life. I have she'd be over here if she was here right now. She'd be pushing me to talk about this, but I have a checkered past. Like I ended up doing a little bit of time for like drug related stuff when I was, I want to say young, but I mean I was in my 20s, so I wasn't that young. But
You're still young.
ended up doing like 7 calendars in Tennessee and got out in like mid 2018. And honestly, like within like 2 months, I was blazing a trail to go right back in. Like I would have,
Mm,
honestly. And we had dated when I was 20 and she was 18. So it was like 18 years ago. We dated for like 2 years. I messed it up because I was, just young and
yeah.
stupid. And she just, biggest thing was just holding me accountable. Was just like, look, if you do this, this is going to happen. This and that, and being kind of shown what my stuff did to like everybody around me. And when I
Mm,
saw that, I was like, oh God, like that is not a good look. And so literally like stopped on a dime with everything and just, yeah, she literally like saved me. But she's also a pain in the ass. But yeah, she's cool. She's
hey
like,
man,
I
sounds like she
definitely.
loves you very much, brother. Sounds like she loves you very
Oh
much,
yeah.
man. And
And what's crazy is throughout like all that 18-year hiatus, this is like the crazy part is all that time that I'm going in and out of jail or go on my way to prison. Uh, she was like always that one where I was like, man, I really shouldn't have messed that up. And like, yeah, I always thought like if I would, because I had never planned to get married ever, and but I was like, if I was ever gonna, then it'd be her. And so it's crazy. I mean, it's God did it. Like that's because there's no other way all that would have come together. And yeah, so I definitely thank God for all of it. And so I feel like it's my duty at this point to one, put 150% into like anything that I do. And just try to be a decent person. Like, just try and be a good person because you always have that choice to make. Like with anything that you do, you're like, okay, I can, do the right thing here, or I can, be an asshole. So sorry, I didn't mean to cuss.
no, you good, man.
uh,
You good. That's very very powerful. I mean, first of all, thank you for sharing, right? Because that's difficult to share in that space. Um, but that's extremely powerful, man. To have gone through, lived through, be able to tell the story, and to be able to be doing, doing something you're doing now. Find somebody who loves you and supports you and everything else, man. Just finding somebody that supports you, period, is a huge deal. So that's a phenomenal story, man, and congratulations on that for on all of it.
Thank you.
Man, that's good. Thank you for sharing, for sure, for sure.
Awesome. It's cool.
So I know you mentioned the grapes a couple times, right? That were your shoe. What about those shoes made make them your favorite?
Because it was the first one. It's not my favorite. Honestly, I didn't even buy them when they released again, like a month ago. I said I
Hmm.
was gonna, but I didn't because I'm trying to be a responsible adult and not buy every single shoe because I was for a while. I did just hit on those undefeated boards though, but I'm just waiting on them to ship. But on those, it was just special, I guess, because it was the first one. It
Yeah.
wasn't even my first Jordan, but it was the first one that I got. You know how like back then the quality of the kid sizes, and then like that next size up was when it would have like stitched on like the our red ones, the ones that had 23 at the back, which
Yeah.
that the grape ones don't have it. I add it to all my shoes, all my fives. I add the 23 at the back. But that was the first one I got that was like the where they started looking good and they were adult sizes. So uh,
Mm.
that's the biggest thing.
Yeah. So what's
My
the favorite one
favorite
then?
though
What's your
was
favorite? Yeah. This episode of the Lace My Podcast is brought to you by Davidito Designs. Davidito Designs is my website. It's where you can go and cop some merch. You can also put in a request for some custom shoes, and we can bring whatever idea that you may have in your mind to life on a pair of custom shoes. Back to the podcast.
probably a four. I like
Okay.
fours, but ones are the most versatile. A
Right.
one low, like you can wear with literally anything, like shorts or dress clothes or whatever. Our wedding, which was nice, like it was like 2 or 2.5 years ago. It was at the Quarry, this place in Knoxville that used to be like a granite, like a working granite quarry.
Mm.
I mean, so it's just like big rock walls and stuff. I had on Travis Scott lows, and my groomsmen all had on Jordan ones, so that was cool.
Yeah. That's what's up. My favorite Jordan of all times are the 11s. I've always loved them,
It was
specifically the
Jordan's
breads.
favorite too.
Huh?
It was Jordan's favorite too.
Yeah. Well, so I feel like they were made for me. And part of the reason why I say that is a November drop, right? It's always a November drop. I'm a November baby. I was born in November. That's the first pair of Jordans I ever got. And when I saw them, the first original drop, I
Mm-hmm.
begged my parents every day until my mom said yes. That's back when you could still go to the store late in the evening and they would still be there. It
Yeah.
was before the lines and all that stuff. But yeah, that the Jordan 11s is my shoe.
Which one? The Concord or
The
the
braids,
the bread?
the
That's the
braids,
ones I got on the
the
when the
braids.
11s came out the very first time.
Yep.
I remember those was when it started getting more expensive too.
Yeah, I
But
got
I
them
got the bread ones.
right before they start going crazy. I got them from like right around $100.
Yep, I had a girl at the Foot Locker in Foothills Mall. This isn't even like the big Knoxville Mall. This is in like Blount County. That's right south of Knoxville. So in that little mall, there was Foot Locker. There was a girl there who would come bring her Geo tracker, that old like Geo tracker where the top came off. She would bring that to my granddad's service station and get her car worked on and get gas there and stuff. So that was my plug into getting Jordans coming up through like middle school and high school. So Yep.
That's
It's
what's up.
crazy how you had to do it back then, because now it's 100% like online
Yeah,
raffles and all that. But
yeah.
yeah, that you had to have some type of situation, especially if you were in school,
Yeah,
to
there was
really
too
miss
much
out.
there. This is because all the fighting and the violence and everything that happened.
Oh
So
yeah.
that's why they had to push it to online. But yeah, no, I remember my brother used to go. We drive up there super early in the morning, and he go get in line, and I just sit in the car and like put the seat back and go to sleep. But oddly enough, what I wear the most now probably are Jordan ones. Like you said, both lows, mids, and highs, but mostly Jordan ones is what I wear the most.
Yep.
They're just better with the way my feet are set up nowadays.
Mhm. Yeah, I made a mistake with them. We went to New York City for the first time, which I love New York City. I didn't think I would, because you can hear from my accent that I'm very country. I have an extreme Tennessee mumble accent. So I didn't know if I'd like New York or not. We get up there and I was like, I love this place. I went to Supreme out in like the Bowery, and it was cool. But I get there and realize that I brought three pairs of Jordan ones. We walked one time through Central Park. I was like, there's no possible way, because we ended up walking miles over the
Yeah,
course of that time there. I went to the Times Square Foot Locker and bought a pair of New Balances. It saved my life. These New Balances got me through that whole trip, because if it had been ones, oh, my feet would have fell off.
yeah, yeah. I hear you. Yeah, especially because I'm doing a lot of moving. Yeah,
It's
for
still the
real.
nicest one though, just because it's the classic layout, and it's you can just do the most with it.
Yeah, yeah. I agree on that one. Don't disagree. So speaking of shoes, you said you're trying to work on your shoe addiction and clicking. How many pairs do you have in the collection?
I'm looking at them like they're on that other wall over there. Uh, Out here, I think there's like 40 something, but then in the closet in there, I'm really testing the shelf strength, because it's loaded all the way up through there with shoe boxes, and about three quarters of them have shoes in them. So there's a lot, but like the good collection, I'd say like 50. So, but by working on shoes and shoes being delivered at my door literally almost every single day, it's impossible for my wife to keep up with that. Like, she just can't. And I know she'll probably be seeing this later. And it's still like there's just no way she can catch me. So I slide a pair in every now and then.
That's
I
funny.
actually told her about the undefeated fours though, just because that was such a, even if they don't end up being super valuable, it was just cool because that was the first Jordan collab ever done back in 2005, when this T-shirt shop Undefeated does a collab with Jordan, and then they did this cool looking Jordan 4 and only made 72 pairs of them. So like it became, like an icon and a grail that was basically impossible to get. And so I had to. Like, and I was shocked that I won, but got it.
Yeah, they're very, very hard to get now too online. It doesn't make it any easier.
Mm-hmm.
Not by the least. So is shoe customizing what you do full time?
Yeah, it is now. It wasn't. It definitely a year ago. My on-site monument engraving, like that, it's a pretty crazy process of what I do. When I tell people, they're like, "What?" So in a cemetery, if you have like a husband and wife, where one of them had passed away, they'll get a headstone, like a double headstone, and that person's buried. Well, when the other one ends up passing, you got to engrave that date of death on the monument in the cemetery. Like, you don't want to go pick those things up and take them back to some shop. So like I have my system set up to do it perfect. Like, I put thought into this. I have a plotter that cuts a stencil. Like, I get on laptop, put in design or date or whatever, and it cuts the stencil of this like rubbery material. I put it on the granite. You pick out like pick out the numbers, letters, whatever, and you're sandblasting it. So you're
Oh,
shooting sand at it
yeah.
hard until it's starting to like eat into the granite. And that's all run by this huge diesel compressor that I pull behind my truck. And so I've had old men like stay in the cemetery for an extra hour just to watch because they're like, wow, like I never thought about how that happens. But it's a thing that like always has to be done. Even when I say like I'm done, I'm gonna quit doing it. Like a cemetery that I work with will pop up like, hey, we got this whole day of jobs for you if you want to come make like 1,000, 1,500 for the day. So I still do it, but yeah, shoes have definitely taken up the most time now.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's finally starting to move though. Like it's once Instagram took the restriction off, and I did. Well, I'm just now started my second giveaway. So I did a giveaway, just something to get people to share my page. That was the biggest thing. And so the first giveaway, I didn't really put any money on it, like an ad, but it gained me like 300 followers over the course of like 5 days. So I was like, okay, I just got to maybe keep doing that. So I just started the second one, and I know it's got like 4,000 views maybe right now, but so maybe this one will be the one. That and that coach getting these shoes next week.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what's up. So, in that, with this, being the full time thing now, what would you say is your process for pricing your your work?
Man, that's the part that I hate the most because I hate. I feel like it sounds like a big number regardless because I just started charging like 550 and six, and I've kept them out of ordering the shoes. Like I don't even want to do all that back and forth with why this one or this. So now I just have them send a 50% deposit. Um, so it's usually like two something, but I just started charging 550 and six, and it still doesn't feel like enough. But I still hate saying it to people sometimes. I know most of them are like, yeah, I know that's what I kind of figured, something like that at least. But you see these guys like the shoe surgeon who basically is dipping a New Balance in dye and putting the different color laces on it, and 4 grand. Or I'm like, like I spend hours on these shoes, and I'm charging like 550 or six, which is why I'm thinking of like going into just building the whole shoe from the sole up and taking paint out of the equation. But I hate to do that too because I think there's things I can do with an airbrush and stuff that you just can't go buy a material that's going to look the way that I do it. But I do have a plan though on cleaning all that up. But it's a whole lengthy process.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I've got it to where it's durable enough now that I think if I took the leather or material or whatever and did the airbrushing and getting it set up beforehand and then putting the shoe together, there's not going to be any joints where you're painting. So I think it would be viable because it could be durable and it would be clean, I think. So
Yeah.
this is what I think
Yeah.
about.
Yeah. No, that's a dope thought process though. Like, I mean, then you're not worried about overspray. You're not worried about
Yeah.
the laces clunking up from too much paint. Like, yeah, that is. I like that thought process. That's
Yeah.
for
Because
sure, for sure. That's dope. I like
Cause
that for sure.
I stand by the durability. Like I say on every little thing I put out there that like I make them to be worn because just the first year of me doing it, God, I can't tell you how many parents would call and saying that their kids destroyed these shoes. Like they hit it on the curb one time and just everything came off the side.
Damn.
But once I kind of figured out the prepping process and really started messing with that and trying to do it the best way possible, like they're durable,
Yeah.
shockingly durable.
Yeah.
Liquid
I've
Kicks.
I've done a couple football cleats,
Yeah.
and people have played the whole season in them and everything, and they still look good. So I'm like,
Hmm.
okay, I did something right. The first pair I ever did though, they were jacked up because I
Oh
didn't know what
yeah.
I was doing.
Oh,
But
I'm sure. But I
but
had a swoosh come off from where I put
oh
a
no,
Travis Scott swoosh, and I tried to stitch. It was before I got my sewing machine, so stitching it by hand. So yeah, I get that. Football cleats can be scary. You gotta,
yeah,
but Liquid Kicks. I don't know what you use, but Liquid Kicks is by far the best stuff. They make a primer that, like before, I was using an adhesion promoter, like a
hmm,
bulldog adhesion promoter. When I started using right here, where's this? There, Liquid Kicks primer, the best stuff I've found because it's like made to be flexible and all that, but it
hmm,
bonds with the leather or nubuck or whatever. That they make a great everything. Like the top
yeah,
coat, they make a good flat top coat that I swear by.
yeah.
They need to start sponsoring me. That's what they
I
should do.
use Angela's and Alpha Six are the
Angelo's
ones
is
that I
awesome
use.
too. Like I
Yeah,
tried veering off and using Alpha Flex, and Alpha Flex is
yeah,
good stuff, but Angelo's is the best. That's why they've been around for like 100
the
years.
longest. Yeah, yeah. Those are the two I use, but I mostly use Angela's, and I started using Alpha Six a few years ago. So how you said within the last years kind of finally started taking off for you. How many years prior to that have you been grinding to start seeing some results? Right.
Five, a solid
Wow.
five of like doing shoes and trying to build on that. A good five. And the thing that made him start kind of branching out was a Tennessee coach for the Tennessee basketball team, Rod Clark. He actually just took a coaching job at Indiana. So he's gone now, but he came in the local sneaker store here, Kick City, who great guys. Like I do a lot with them. He came in there. They got a bunch of my cards to register, and he ended up getting a couple pairs from me. Next thing I know, I've got a lottery draft pick in the NBA draft calling my phone. Dalton Connect. Right as he was about, I talked to Dalton on the phone a week before he got drafted by the Lakers, and he's telling me like, "Yeah, I'm signed by Jordan Brand." And I'm like, "What? Like
Yeah.
how how do you wrap your head around this?" But did a few for him that didn't really pan out to be much of anything because he's a rookie. He can't wear customs on the court like Jordan Brand would not let, and which is crazy because I already got the green light from his Jordan rep, but it didn't really do much. But I just figure, it'll happen when it happens. But Coach Rod, it ended up spreading from him to Georgia. Ended up doing like six different Georgia basketball coaches. Spreads from there to LSU. That's where I met J.C. Williams. So, and this goes into a crazy story of something that just happened a couple of days ago. So, J.C. Jalen Courtney Williams, he coaches at LSU. I think, yeah, he played for LSU when he went to college. He has got like a good 7 or 8 customs from me over the course of the last year. So during this year, I'm doing a pair for a Creighton coach. I see a reel on Instagram or something of this guy selling a pair of shoes at a sneaker con, and it was one of the 16 pairs of off-white Jordan 1 high that Nike gave to Creighton when they made it to Sweet 16. So it got me thinking, and I asked the Creighton coach, I was like, "Hey, you got a pair of these?" He's like, "No." He's like, "But your boy JC does." I was like, "What?" So I text JC. He was like, "Man, I forgot I even had those. They're in my closet." Uh, what? You see, he's like, "Man, I put them on one time, put them back in the box, and they're just in my closet." We worked out a deal like 8 months later, and he sent me the shoes. And so I had one of these one of 16 pairs of shoes, and held onto it for about 2 weeks, and I just sold it 4 days ago. Just guess. Just guess the
You
number.
sold it 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, okay, listen. So it was like an off-white Jordan 1 high,
Yeah.
but blue and looked like a Creighton. You can find a picture. There's a picture on my Instagram.
Mm.
There's 16 of them. Nike didn't officially make them. Nike had someone else make them.
Make them.
So Virgil Abloh wasn't involved. He had already passed by then. So there's not like a set market on these shoes. But
Yeah.
this is a brand new size 14. It's a special situation. I knew it was going to take a specific person. I ended up finding a guy in Texas. We linked up on Facebook. He wears a size 14. He's a Creighton alum and like sneakerhead, and he knew about the shoes and had been looking for a pair, and it worked out. So just guess how much.
Let's say I'm gonna give a range, or maybe let's do this. Let's say high or low, and you tell me high or low. Let's say four grand.
It was exactly 4. That was perfect. It was exactly 4. It was cool. Like I was excited for the guy to get him, because any deal I do, like I don't want to beat anybody. I don't want somebody to feel like they got beat in a situation, and I put them out there knowing like I have no idea what price to say, and so we landed at the number I wanted for. So that was cool.
That's awesome.
So I'm about to buy a pair of shoes that my wife can't say anything about, because I said in the beginning, I said if I sell these for like more than 2,000, I'm buying one of the pair of shoes I want. So there is a list that I'm looking at right now.
There's a list. Well, you should get a chance to check a couple off with $4 grand, right?
I should, but I know I can get away with one, and she's not gonna care.
That's what's up. That's funny. Well, yeah, you can get away with one. There you go. So, what's something that you're working on now that you're excited about?
The ones that I'm sending to that coach, I don't have a lace in it, but I can show you what I did. Hold on. They're not far. I had to take the laces out for a minute, but so the double layer of the swoosh. All right, so I snuck in like the Tennessee checkerboard, all over the place. I snuck it in everywhere that I could, and so that is supposed to be kind of like a checkerboard, just dispersing. That's why there's one like way out here by itself.
Yeah.
Stitching all that leather like that was a massive headache. But Tennessee, and then on the inside, this is where it gets very personal. So it's got like almost like a character card on like a video game, sort of. So it's like name, it's like where he was born, Sandusky, and then Super Bowl. It's got like a green check on the yes circle. So it has like a stamp at the top that says Rocky Top.
I see that.
Approved. So that's cool. And then on the inside of the other one, it's got
the Barstool logo.
Yeah, and then Knoxville. Because he loves Knoxville. He met his wife at UT. Like when he was a graduate student coach with the football team, that was when he met his wife, when she was going to UT.
Wow. Yeah. So do you put your logo on every shoe that you do?
Pretty much. If I don't, for whatever reason, I do usually put like an Offbeat Air tag, like the one that's on these. But so normally I put one like that on there, and like it'll get numbered or something in the back. But these, I threw it on there.
Yeah, I saw that.
If it makes sense, I do. I just don't want to force it in there. And honestly, I don't like to force it in there unless I know the person like wants me to. I don't want to force my logo on people. But people have asked for it a lot, so I feel good about that.
Yeah, that's what's up. I like that. So if there's somebody who's new, who's jumping into shoe customizing, what's one tip that you would give them?
Prep work, like take the prep work serious, and then just take the time to do everything the right way. Don't speed through taping it off, or like in the beginning, I cut the swoosh off the first few. I would slice the leather because I was hurrying. Just take the time and do it right, because the finished result is going to be a lot better that way.
Yeah, I think that's probably one of the biggest things. Understanding how important it is to prep, because you paint over that finisher, it's gonna come right off.
Hmm. Oh yeah,
For
I
sure, for
stopped
sure.
using the Angelos and just went straight to acetone. Like it tells you
Yeah.
not to because it could be too strong, but if you just do it quick with like cotton swabs, acetone
Mm-hmm.
works a lot
Yep.
better.
Yep. I agree. That's what I used to. So this one may be a cheat for you, but one of the questions that I normally ask is, "What's the top five customs that you created?" Even though I see you put your top 10 on your Instagram, but what's your top five shoes that you've created total? Because that was 2025.
Yeah, ever definitely there was a Joker pair that were for Alan Moore. He's another day one offbeat guy that's been getting them from me for a while. He got a Joker one that was definitely in my like Hall of Fame. Uh, man, I did love those Florida State ones. I mean, I have to say them because they were number one on my top 10 for 25, just because it just came together perfect. Having that, the Seminoles pattern that they use on all their stuff, having that to kind of sneak in there and shadow it in there made those all. And then the swoosh with the spear on the back, that worked out. So I like those. A Juice World SB dunk that I did for a buddy of mine that looked like it had the purple lane or whatever, like
Mm-hmm.
dripping down. And so the tongue and everything outside of the tongue was like it literally was spilling over the top of it. The Juice World SBs were cool. They were in that list. It's because I try to make every single pair like the best pair that I've ever made. So uh, my favorite ones are like always within my last 15, 20 pairs usually. Um, it's another one though. I do like the SBs because that white SB with the gum bottom, the leather on them is one of the best of any of them. Uh, yeah, I love those North Carolina ones that I just did because that was the first poly swoosh, and I plan to use that again. That and another pair that is they just picked them up, or I'd show you, but they were the black and grayish colored ones that had the double layer swoosh, but the red swoosh underneath was dripping, which I don't ever really use like the drip stuff much anymore, just because it's been done so many
Yeah.
times. It's hard to make it look right. That felt like I could get away with it because it was something new, so that was cool. That's yeah,
Okay.
something
We'll
like
take
that.
it. We'll take it. So, what do you listen to, jam out to, zone out to while you're doing your work, while you're doing your
Mm.
artwork, right? What is the audiobook, playlist, song? What does that look like? What is the vibe in the space?
So I'm semi embarrassed about part of it, but not that bad. So '90s rap is what I've listened to since like second grade. Like the Doggy Style Snoop album was like the first parental advisory tape. It was a cassette tape. So like '90s rap, early 2000s rap was always like my just go to at all times. Like it's what I always listen to.
Yeah.
I hated on new rap hard, like hated on it. But there's a shocking amount of I'm trying to think of who some of the newer ones are. Like it started with me like with Lil Baby. I was like, there's no
Mm-hmm.
way. And now there's like 20 Lil Baby songs on there. Some of the new ones like Playboy Cardi, a lot of Travis Scott, lots and lots of Travis Scott. But I think he's gotten big enough to where he doesn't really count as like one of the new rappers now. But man, back in the '90s, it was awesome when Cash Money was huge and No Limit was huge. Like
Yeah.
those were the CDs to have. Like I had every one of them. And there's a lot of that still in there. Um, Eight Ball, Eight Ball and MJG. There's a lot of that in there. I saw them by surprise. Are you? Where are you from?
Originally from Houston, Texas, but
Oh,
I
okay.
live I live
You
in
know what I'm talking about though.
yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Okay, because like he's a Memphis legend. Speaking of 3-6, there's a lot of 3-6 in there. I'm really embarrassed about the song I just added to my playlist. Riff Raff. It's Riff Raff. You know, the white dude that has like the diamond grill, dresses crazy and bright colors. So Riff Raff, but it's with DJ Paul. So it's okay because DJ Paul is on there. But yeah, a lot of 3-6 and who else? Yeah. So a mix of 90s rap and probably the other half of it's newer stuff.
There you go. There you go.
Can't think of who.
So you get one person to pick, dead or alive, to make a custom pair of shoes for. Who is it, and what would you do?
Man. Like my brain instantly goes to the person who I think did the most for it, which would be Tinker Hatfield. Because I mean he basically saved the game. Because Jordan 1 is like it's the icon and it was what it was, but when the Jordan 2 came out, Jordan almost left Nike over that. Like that was just a bad shoe. And Tinker, obviously, he came in and designed 3 through 14, and the Air Max 1. He designed the Back to the Future shoe, the Air Max.
Yeah.
So possibly, but I don't know. Like, I don't know if I want to do a custom for like the guy who designed almost all the shoes I wear. Not all of them because he didn't do the one, but besides him though, like alive or dead, Babe Ruth maybe, because it would just blow his mind. He'd be like, "What the hell have you done?"
That's a good one. That's a good one. All right, before we get out of here, where can the people reach you at? Where can they find you at?
My Instagram, which is at Offbeatcustoms. Yeah, that's the main one. I've got a TikTok with the same name at Offbeat Customs.
Thank you. That has been another episode of the Lace 'em Up podcast. Thank you for sticking and staying with your boy. Thank you again to our guests. As I always say, remember, fear is fake. Creating is problem solving. Peace. If you like that episode, check out more episodes of Lace 'em Up podcast right over here. And don't forget to subscribe.
Listen, it takes wisdom to grab these sneakers and spin them. Cut a couple of linen and match them up with the denim core. Davidito, he'll cook it up like the kilo. And have your Air Ones appropriate with the stilo. He's no Lilo, but he's mean with the stitch.